So what I was going to say is that be careful for words that make people obviously stupid and obviously wrong. Those words are flat earther, anti-vaxxer, Nazi, socialist in some circles. These are labels that you can apply to people to not address their arguments. Here's my thing. If your girlfriend is deep into medical research and has an opinion on vaccines that is not anti-vax, fine. If you are not, but you are certain that anti-vaxxers are wrong, I would encourage you to ease up off that belief in the same way that I would encourage you to ease up off of thinking the flat earthers are dumb. If you can't convincingly explain why the earth is in fact not flat and address their first level round of criticisms. And so I guess the deeper point here, relating back to the first point, is don't let a label like conspiracy, the 9/11 conspiracy. Oh, therefore it's not true. Like you can just write so many things off with certain labels. Be aware of what those labels are and don't allow yourself to buy into it. Now, for the sake of this argument, let's presume that anti-vaxxing is incorrect or she has an unnuanced view of it or whatever. I actually don't know that that's the case. I haven't looked into it, so I don't have a strong opinion. I've gotten my vaccines. So I guess we can answer the question as is.
Sorry, but her sister is not able to convince her of this? Like they discuss this and her sister finds her medical student sister unpersuasive?
I guess so.
So
they just had a heated discussion.
Yeah. So get down to values. You share the same values, right? So you're talking up here, and I think things can get tense, and then you get two sides, and you get Republicans and Democrats, and they'll never come together. Go down to values. This is your sister. And I think what you say is, it sounds to me like what you want to do is be healthy. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds to me like you want to be healthy and you want everyone in the world to be as healthy as they can. And you want your kids to be healthy. So do I. So like, let's just understand that, like, even if you vehemently think I'm wrong, like, I really want you and your family to be healthy. And I recognize that you really want you and your family to be healthy. That will allow us to hopefully disagree on the data without impugning the other one's intent, whether we do it overtly or covertly, which is kind of what happens. Like, you become this black sheep, crazy person. What you have is someone who disagrees with you that thinks that they're doing the right thing for their family and their country, though. I think that will help. And then I think ask them, instead of foisting your view, say, what was it that you found most persuasive? Like, show me like the moment where you went from someone who received their vaccines and has never had measles, mumps, or rubella to the moment where you became concerned.
Well, another actually going back to the other question, but for this one, another good like question to ask when you're having a conversation with someone is like, what would have to be true for you to be in favor of the vaccine?
Yeah.
And if the answer is nothing, it's like, okay, this is a belief at this point. This isn't like a thing that's based on thought. So there's no point in us discussing it. You know what I mean? There has to be something. Like, what would convince you? And then just whatever the thing is, that the earth was round, that the earth was flat, that the vaccines were safe, that vaccines were dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, each of you should have an answer to that. Like, oh, well, if you showed me that a statistically significant number of people who get vaccinated get autism, that would make me wary of vaccines. What about you? Okay, well, if you could show me that there's no correlation with vaccines and autism, then yeah, I guess I would be a proponent of vaccines. It's like, okay, now let's just reasonable find sources of data that we both agree with.
Yeah, and we can dispute the data. We can say, I don't trust this particular source, but
sure, if one of you wants to trust the CDC and the other one doesn't, has a different data source, like, okay,
now let's get down to why, though. We can get down to why. The other thing that I think, especially in families, that you can do is I love fighting, and I will not do this unless I actually want to make peace, which I usually don't. I'm like enjoying the disagreement. But like my dad at one point, when we're talking, or frequently, I'll tell him that his orange man bad view of Donald Trump is, to me, doesn't make any sense. Like, I say these things that I say on the podcast. Oh, do you know? How do you know what you know? Like, you're so... I've known for ages. He just knows, right? And he'll say, in semi-serious jest, you are truly lost. You are the problem with this country. And I go, hold on. You mean the kid that you raised for 18 years, who donates a huge chunk of his money to charity and tries to convince you to do the same, who stopped eating meat and ruins Thanksgiving every year by, with his vegetarian. this is that guy is the problem. Your spawn, the one that you made, like you can lean on the relationship and the history of care and love that is in there in times where it gets heated. And especially if it's like your dad, you just get to blame them for, you're like, whatever I am, you did. So,
Well, yeah, but for sister, that's not necessarily helpful.
no, but if she's older, be like, this is all because of you.
No, yeah, I think the biggest thing is just like, yeah, what convinced you that vaccines are bad? What, if anything, will convince you that vaccines aren't bad?
Mm-hmm.
And then go from there.
Yep. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.